Welcome back to the deep dive. We're going deep this time, into the early life of Harry Potter.
Oh yeah, everyone thinks they know Harry. But we're going to uncover some surprises.
Even if you've read the books a million times.
Exactly.
This deep dive into Chapter 2 of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, it's going to give you a whole new perspective. So get ready to unpack Harry's unusual childhood with the Dursleys.
We're talking snakes, vanishing glass, the whole shebang.
And see if you can spot clues to the mysteries that'll unfold later on.
That's what I love about starting with this chapter. It seems ordinary, like normal life, but it's packed with subtle hints, foreshadowing, things we might miss on a first read.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like the calm before the magical storm, you know.
I see what you mean.
By examining these early details, we get a much deeper understanding of Harry's character and the forces that shape his destiny.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Privet Drive. It's this picture-perfect street. Everything's neat and tidy and, well, utterly mundane.
And the Dursleys, they eat that up.
That's exactly how they like it.
The Dursleys are so interesting to me. They're completely obsessed with appearances, material possessions, fitting in with their neighbors.
Yeah, they're all about keeping up with the Joneses.
But underneath all that, there's this deep-seated fear of anything out of the ordinary.
Actually magic.
Exactly, which is so ironic,
Hmm.
because their nephew is Harry Potter.
All right.
It suggests that there's some profound insecurity lurking beneath that veneer of normalcy.
So their materialism, is it like a defense mechanism?
Oh, absolutely.
Like they're trying to build a wall of possessions
Yeah.
to keep out anything that might disrupt their carefully constructed world?
You hit the nail on the head. And this fear extends to Harry himself. They see him as a living embodiment of the magic they're so terrified of.
He's a constant reminder of the world they want to deny exists.
Exactly.
It's truly heartbreaking how they treat him. He's not just ignored, he's actively ostracized, punished for things he can't even control.
Like his hair growing back. After Aunt Petunia gives him that awful haircut.
Oh, yeah.
Their behavior is a form of psychological abuse. It's meant to suppress any hint of individuality or magic in Harry.
And remember Dudley's birthday, 39 presents, and he throws a tantrum because he thinks it's one less than the year before.
And Harry gets, what was it, a lemon ice pop?
Yeah, a forgotten lemon ice pop.
It's almost comical how blatant they are about it. They talk about him like he's not even there.
But that kind of constant negativity, that has to have a profound impact on a kid.
Absolutely. Imagine growing up in that environment. You're constantly told you're worthless, a freak, a burden.
It makes you wonder how he has any self-worth at all.
And yet he does. Despite the Dursleys, Harry's true nature keeps shining through.
Like when Dudley's sweater shrinks after he tries to bully Harry into wearing it.
Right. These little glitches in the Dursleys' carefully ordered world are really the first hints of Harry's latent magical abilities.
It's like his magic is bubbling under the surface.
Trying to find a way to express itself.
Do you think, if they'd reacted differently, if they had been more open-minded, could they have helped Harry understand and control his abilities? Or would his magic have emerged anyway?
That's a great question. One that fans have debated for years.
Yeah.
We can't know for sure, but I think it's safe to say a more nurturing environment would have made a world of difference in how Harry perceived these early experiences.
Instead of being scary and confusing, his magic could have been a source of wonder and excitement.
Exactly. But for the Dursleys, anything unusual is a threat. Something to be feared, suppressed.
And that fear kind of reaches its peak during their trip to the zoo.
Oh, the zoo.
Such a memorable scene.
It really is.
It starts with so much promise, a rare outing for Harry.
To experience something outside of Privet Drive.
Right, but then things take a very dramatic turn at the reptile house.
The reptile house is symbolic on so many levels. It's a place of confinement.
Like Harry trapped with the Dursleys.
Exactly. But it's also a place of transformation. A space where creatures shed their skins to reveal something new.
And that's what happens to Harry.
In this scene,
he connects with the boa constrictor.
Another creature that seems out of place.
He even winks at it.
Like he recognizes a kindred spirit.
And then the unthinkable happens. The glass front of the snake's enclosure vanishes.
It's a powerful moment. Like breaking free from limitations,
Yeah.
both literal and metaphorical.
Oh, wow. I like it.
Harry escaping the confines of his ordinary life.
Right.
Stepping into a world of magic and possibility.
Even in the most mundane settings, like a reptile house.
Yeah.
Magic can break through if the conditions are right.
If the conditions are right. And in this case, I think it was Harry's connection with the snake His empathy for another trapped creature, that was the catalyst.
Right, like Harry's magic. It's not just about spells and potions. It's about empathy and connection.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Remember how the snake thanks Harry as it slithers away? There's a deeper understanding there, a shared experience.
And the Dursleys.
Oh, the Dursleys.
Their reaction is just priceless. They blame Harry, of course.
Of course.
They refuse to acknowledge anything unusual or magical.
Willfully blind to the truth.
Yeah.
Their denial. It's a recurring theme in the book.
Oh, yeah.
And it speaks to their deep-seated fear. Anything that challenges their worldview is just too much for them.
Right. They'd rather stick to their narrow definition of normal.
Even if it means ignoring all the evidence.
Right. Like, they're trying to erase magic from his life, make him conform to their mundane existence.
But as we see throughout the book, magic is a part of Harry.
It can't be erased.
It will find a way to express itself.
And their attempts to control Harry, it's not just about their reactions to these events. They restrict his freedom, isolate him from other kids, prevent him from experiencing anything that might trigger his abilities.
It's like they're trying to build a wall between Harry and magic.
Yeah.
Remember when they refused to let him go to the zoo?
Oh, yeah.
With Dudley and Piers?
Yeah.
Until Mrs. Fig breaks her leg.
That's right. They were forced to take him.
Like they're trying to create a magic-proof bubble around him.
But we know that bubble's going to burst. It's inevitable.
The more they try to suppress Harry's true nature, the more powerful it becomes.
Like trying to hold back a tidal wave with a broom.
What do you think is at the root of their fear of magic? It's more than just a dislike of the unusual.
It is. There's a deep terror there.
Yeah.
Something deeper. We know Aunt Petunia had a sister who was a witch.
Harry's mother.
That's right. And she resented her for it.
Yeah. For having abilities she didn't.
Maybe Petunia's fear comes from wanting magic herself. Like she sees Harry as a reminder of what she could never have.
A living embodiment of her own perceived inadequacy.
That's an interesting theory.
It's a classic case of envy and resentment.
Yeah.
Turning into fear and prejudice.
She couldn't accept her sister's difference.
So she demonizes it.
And now she's projecting those feelings onto Harry.
Instead of celebrating Harry's uniqueness, she's trying to extinguish it.
And her fear, it's contagious.
Her husband and son, they just go along with it.
They created a family dynamic based on denial and suppression.
A toxic environment.
Stifling Harry's growth. But Harry is a survivor.
Oh, he is.
Resilient, resourceful.
He's got this inner strength that even the Dursleys can't crush.
And then there are those encounters, those strange encounters Harry has with people who seem to recognize him. People dressed in odd clothing.
Who disappear before he can get a good look.
Right.
These encounters are brief, but they're significant.
How so?
They suggest that Harry's not forgotten.
Okay.
That there are people out there who know who he is and what he's capable of.
They're like whispers from the magical world.
Right.
Little hints of a destiny that awaits him.
The man in the violet top hat.
The old woman dressed in green.
The bald man in the purple coat.
Yeah.
These are glimpses into a world that Harry is yet to discover.
A world where he might finally find acceptance and belonging.
They foreshadow the connections he'll make later at Hogwarts. Friends who will guide him on his journey, help him embrace who he is.
So even when he's surrounded by people who want to suppress his magic, he's not alone.
He's not alone.
It's like the author is hinting that despite the Dursleys, the magical world is already reaching out to him.
Drawing him closer to his destiny.
And we as readers are in on it. We get these subtle clues, these hints of a hidden world.
Creates a sense of anticipation, like something extraordinary is about to happen.
Even though he's physically isolated, he's still drawn to these glimpses of magic.
He's yearning for something more.
More than that dreary life with the Dursleys.
He's longing for it.
And it foreshadows those powerful connections he makes later.
At Hogwarts.
Friendships that help him face all those challenges.
Definitely.
And speaking of challenges, we can't ignore the biggest mystery.
His parents' death.
Exactly. The Dursleys tell him that story about a car crash.
But it's so vague.
Yeah, deliberately obscured. All Harry has are those fragmented memories.
A flash of green light.
A searing pain.
Like pieces of a shattered mirror.
Reflecting the truth the Dursleys are trying to hide.
Why are they so afraid to talk about it?
What really happened that night?
And how is it connected to those strange events?
And those mysterious strangers.
Like we're being set up for a much bigger story.
One that goes way beyond Privet Drive.
The Dursleys think they can control Harry.
Keep him in their world of normalcy.
But they can't.
Something much bigger is at play.
They're like gardeners trying to prune a magical oak tree into a bonsai,
They can restrict it for a while.
but they can't change its nature,
Harry's destined for greatness.
whether they like it or not.
That's what makes this chapter so interesting.
Even for those who know the whole story.
It's not just about a boy with horrible relatives.
It's about the resilience of the human spirit,
The persistence of hope.
the pull of destiny.
So what can our listeners take away from all this?
Pay attention to those seemingly insignificant moments,
The foreshadowing.
the symbolism,
Look for those hidden connections.
and keep an open mind.
The world is full of magic.
If we're willing to see it,
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and never underestimate the power of a single spark.